Hello, my name is Vicky Lauda Andres, and this is my husband, Cesar Andres. Back there's my son, Fernando Andres. I am talking to my husband regarding psychology. As you know, I've been currently taking psychology online through Richmond College. And I'm going to be talking to you about the study of psychology. This is my one sheet that I've took notes on, and I'm just going to be telling you what the general study of psychology is and several other topics that we studied in class. Okay.
Okay. Say hi.
Sorry. Psychology. Psychology is a scientific study of the mind and behavior. It composes various subfields and applications including clinical psychology, cognitive psychology, developmental psychology, social psychology, and more. Psychologists aim to understand mental processes, emotional responses, and behavior through observation, experimentation, and analysis. Basically, psychology isn't just one side.
It isn't just therapists.
It isn't
talking
just
to people.
therapists. It is the study of between everything, between behavior, cognitive, emotions, and we'll get more in touch with that. That's actually three key.
So each one of those things are its own specialty?
Each one of those things, yes. And
Do you have to? So is it just kind of like how you go to school, you study that aspect and you move on to each one, or is it kind of just like a general psychology just covers everything and you study all those together and you differentiate?
So with general psychology, we briefly touch everything.
Okay.
We briefly just go over every topic. That's more of an introduction into what psychology is.
Oh, okay. Just to kind of put your foot in the water.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Social, behavioral, clinical, and what else did you say?
Developmental psychology.
Developmental.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Like kids.
Kids, exactly.
Like that little gremlin we got back there.
Exactly. So the key concepts is behavioral, cognitive, and emotional. Behavioral is observable actions of humans and animals. Because I don't know if you know, but human characteristics have a lot of animal characteristics as well, of how they react towards certain situations.
Yeah, I think there was some stories I've heard where some monkeys behave really similar to how humans behave.
Exactly.
When you give a certain group of them a gift and you don't give the other, it's like they get jealous or something like that.
Exactly
right?
like that. Exactly like that. Yes.
Do they have other animals, or is it just like?
Like, for instance, how a mother bear nurtures their cub.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, but bears do that. Yeah.
Mhm.
I
Exactly.
think they talked about that when you're like at SeaWorld too, right? When the orca.
The
Orcas kind of also whenever have a really protective nature with their children.
Exactly.
Where certain animals kind of don't.
And then again, that covers behavioral psychology. Behavioral side in psychology. Cognitive is a mental process involving in gaining knowledge and comprehension, including thinking, knowing, remembering, judging, and problem solving. Cognitive, basically the mental process, including how you're able to solve certain critical thinking aspects, stuff like that.
Is it a competition, or is it just like
how long they take? Not a competition. So those some scientists do like to study which one's able to study it faster, or which one are able to have cognitive faster. Emotional. Some people have complex psychological states involving three distinct components: a subject experience, a psychological response, and behavioral or expressive response.
Okay.
So emotional is a very complex, basically, the emotion side. the psychological response and the behavioral responses.
Like you're having a bad day or something, or
exactly,
or you've had something very traumatic or sad happen to you.
Or you just had some good news. I don't know, you found $100 on the floor. Make you very happy, and stuff like that.
Grief, anger.
All of that. That's the emotional side.
Okay.
Now, there's all of those that go under the applications of either clinical, counseling psychology, or educational psychology. Clinical psychology is assessments and treatments of mental illnesses, abnormal behavior, and psychiatric problems. That's the clinical side.
Gotcha. Maybe someone who's had trouble for a long time and doesn't know how to what he's got going on for him. Maybe he's depressed or something, I guess. Or,
exactly.
And he goes to a doctor to get himself checked in and looked at, I guess. Right?
Yes, that is the mental illness side. Even the abnormal behavior, as long as you see somebody with abnormal behavior, say twitch or anything at all, any abnormal behavior, that's the more clinical side. Even psychiatric problems, that's more clinical side of psychology.
Oh, okay. Okay. I think I did hear something about that where they used to, but I don't think they do it anymore. They have those
electroshock therapies.
Yeah, electroshock therapies.
They still have them?
They do?
Yes. It's not as widely studied anymore, or widely used, but yeah, they still have it.
They still have a lot of those institutions? Or is it more like a rehab?
It's more of a rehab, and it's not highly recommended anymore. And then counseling psychology focuses on providing therapeutic treatment to clients who experience a wide variety of symptoms. Basically, that's the counseling side, the therapists and everything like that.
People who have like marriage problems or they've had something happen to them when they were a kid or something like that, right?
Or they just, need to talk or anything like that,
That's also pretty helpful, I think, because there's a lot of people I've seen, I know personally who don't have anyone to talk to, and they're just kind of alone all the time, and I think that also messes with your mind a lot when you're out alone, don't have anybody to talk to.
Exactly, that's why the counseling psychology side is very crucial. It's also a good mental health awareness. Good for everybody.
I don't think we're supposed to be. I don't think humans are lone wolves for very long.
We're very social people. Educational psychology studies how people learn and the best practice of teaching.
Oh, okay. Just so you can be approachable, I guess, right?
So, or you could, impart wisdom.
Make a bigger impact on people.
So the next one I really want to talk
That's
to you.
That's true, because I don't think I'm a good teacher. I don't have the patience for it. People have patience for it, and I don't think I do.
No, not a lot of people do. I don't. I certainly don't. Actions, potentials. Now we're gonna go and touch in depth with a different type of psychology side. So the action potential. Let me go ahead and read you the exact definition. The definition and exact action potential is a rapid rise in sequential fall in voltage of membrane potential across the cellular membrane with a characteristic pattern. Action potentials are fundamental processes in the functions of neurons, allowing them to transmit information. I know I threw a lot of information out there for you, but let me just go ahead and simplify it for you then. This process allows neurons to communicate essential information throughout their brain's activities, like feelings and movements and stuff like that. How you feel for something, or how quickly you react to something. That's the study of action potential. Right? Almost like reflexes, yes.
Oh, okay. So there's certain actions that happen in your mind. If you feel like you're happy or you're sad or if you're in love or something like that.
Yeah.
That all can be tracked and seen. Is that how lie detector tests work?
Basically, kind of? Yes. They see the neurotransmitters.
They see your brain just kind of react to something.
Exactly like that.
Oh. I got one of those before.
It says so they measure like resting potential, the threshold, the depolarization, repolarization, the refraction period, and the hyperpolarization. I know I threw a lot of words at you, but we're going to go over them. The resting potential is the membrane's potential of neurons when it's not being stimulated, basically.
It's like a resting heart rate kind of?
Exactly. Typically around
What are you doing?
negative 70 millivolts.
Okay.
Now, the threshold is the level of stimulation required to trigger an action, potentially, usually around negative 50 millivolts.
So what happens if that's not your resting? Is that just something that they have to...
It's like a threshold. It's not, it might not be exact
Okay.
for everybody, but...
Okay.
The depolarization, the process by which the membrane potential becomes less negative, more positive, moving towards zero and above. You become positive, moving.
Oh, so you can see if somebody's depressing
Mm-hmm.
or depressed.
With the depolarization.
That kind of depolarization.
Mm-hmm. And then the repolarization is the process of returning to the resting potential after depolarization.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
That can be gauged then.
Yes, it can.
Measure it and stuff like that.
Exactly.
I didn't know they can do that.
Hyperpolarization is when the membrane potential becomes more negative than the resting potential.
Mm-hmm.
So that was hyperpolarization. Now, refraction period, a period immediately following an action potential during which the neurons is unable to fire another action potential.
Unable to?
Unable to. You're already working on one. You can't. Ugh.
Oh, it's like, do you feel like overwhelmed, or is it just not
It's
a
like,
possible thing?
It's not possible. Like, say you're already working on running. You can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically. Now, we're going to go ahead and also, I'm going to touch the topic of neurotransmitters with you. Now, neurotransmitters are the chemical messengers that transmit signals across a chemical synapse, such as between neurons or between neurons and the muscles. Not just the electrical side, but like the neurons in your brain side, which transmit information to each other or to your muscles.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's like a network.
Exactly.
It's like a network, or like like post office kind of, right? Just like send mail across, and then you get that, and you send your return letter or whatever, or
exactly like that. Exactly like that. Yes. So with neurotransmitters, there is a synapse, a presynaptic neuron, postsynaptic neurons, receptors, and reuptake. The synapse is the junction between two neurons where the transmissions of information occurs. That's literally where the transfer of information is, right there in the synapse.
And where is that?
It's in your neurotransmitters.
Oh, it's within. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
It's within the
I thought it was a section of your
no,
mind or
it's
something.
within the neurotransmitters.
Oh, okay. So okay.
And the presynaptic neurons, the neurons sending the signal. That's the ones that are trying to reach out to the other neurons. The presynaptic neurons.
And what was the other one? Presynaptic, and the other one was called what?
The synapse is the action of sending information.
Okay. It was like the ears in the mouth, kind of.
Basically, yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm, exactly. And then the postsynaptic neurons are the neurons receiving the information. That's kind of like you and me right now. I'm telling you the information, so I'm the presynaptic neuron, and you're the postsynaptic neuron. You're receiving this information.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So it sends it, they hear for it,
Mm-hmm.
and they retrieve it.
Yes. All the
Gotcha.
information about my general psychology. It says receptors, proteins on the postsynaptic cell that bind to neurotransmitters and electric in response.
And that's what you're talking about, the action thing and how fast that can be done, right?
Exactly.
And if it's slower than normal, then there's something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it's within that measurable, I guess, scale of being normal, then you're probably fine.
Yes.
And I guess if If it's slower, then you probably would need to go through more tests, right?
Yes.
See if like
See what's going on.
What else is affecting you or whatnot.
Exactly. Now, examples of neurotransmitters are the ACH, acetylcholine. I tried my hardest to say that one. Is the involvement of the muscles in action, learning the memory. This regulation is associated with Alzheimer's disease. Basically, involving muscles in the learning of the memory helps to prevent Alzheimer's disease, and is because they actually linked that deterioration within that is also linked with Alzheimer's disease.
Okay. So the actual physical muscle of what was it called?
It's
what's like
the
muscle,
acronym
right?
is ACH to simplify it for you.
But it's something that you need to exercise, right? Just like memory games and stuff like that.
Exactly. And memory games, puzzles, anything.
So those apps on iOS store don't tell you a lie. They actually
they're
trying to help you.
They're trying to help you.
They're just trying to take my money.
And then dopamine, of course, I think you know what dopamine is. Everybody throws it around nowadays. It plays a role in motivation, motor control, imbalance, a link on Parkinson's disease and schizophrenia.
I've heard that whenever they talk about addiction.
Yes.
It's like it's like a high or something, right?
Exactly. You get very happy with dopamine. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. But
if you
it
get
can
too much
lead
of it.
It can lead to like gambling issues or stuff like that. They receive a high dopamine with that.
So you have an imbalance of dopamine, like the lack of. So you get like schizophrenia or what is the other one? Depression?
It's probably linked to Parkinson's disease or even schizophrenia.
But Parkinson's, isn't that a disease that's like with your hands or something like that?
Yes, it's not just your hands, it's tremors in your whole body. You're unable to control your body. Your nervous system is basically attacking itself.
Oh, really? Interesting. And that's because of the neurotransmitters?
Yes.
Even schizophrenia?
Even schizophrenia.
And is that stuff genetic or what?
It can be genetic, yes. Or it could just be like a imbalance within birth.
Is that stuff can be curable or is it just treatable?
It's only treatable. They have not found a cure for that yet.
I don't know if there can be a cure. It sounds like it's maybe like a deterioration of something.
Next, we're going to cover serotonin. It regulates mood, appetite, and sleep. Low levels are associated with depression.
Yeah, that sounds about right. If you're not happy, you'd probably be depressed.
And a lot of people say basically if you're not getting enough sleep, or you're not getting enough appetite, stuff like that, yeah, you're going to be depressed.
Oh, okay. Lack of sleep. I guess lack of sleep also causes schizophrenia too, huh?
Yeah, it does. Because it's not letting the neurotransmitters rest, not letting them recharge, everything. And then the next one is, I'm going to try my hardest to say this one correctly once. The gamma aminobutyric acid, or otherwise known as GABA.
GABA.
The primary inhibitory neurotransmitters in the brain. It helps to reduce neurotransmission and accessibility. Basically, it helps calm the brain activities down.
Okay, so it's just like when you're about to go to sleep or something?
Exactly. Or you're about to rest, basically.
You're at rest and you're not totally alert at all times, so that would be exhausting. That'd be exhausting.
Now, the last one is the glutamate. The primary excitatory neurotransmitters involving a cognitive function such as the learning and memory. Glutamate is actually very interesting because people don't know this. It's made of glucose.
Sugar.
So an excessive amount of sugar is actually very bad for you.
So you get bad, you eat a lot of sugar, you get fat, and you get a whole bunch of brain problems?
Yeah.
Damn, that sucks. When you drink
a whole bunch of cognitive functions.
Drink a lot of soda, that's a lot of sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Or just, I guess, anything, really. And if you eat a whole bunch of really terrible food,
yeah,
it's bad for you. And especially if you're not exercising anything.
So the applications, it's mostly pharmacology. Understanding neurotransmitters is crucial for developing drugs to treat various neurological and psychological disorders.
Wow.
It is very important when developing, medications, especially for the psychiatric patients, Alzheimer's patients, Parkinson patients. It's very important to understand them.
Yeah, because everybody just kind of just disregards anybody who isn't like them.
And then psychiatry, medications that anticipate, antidepressants, antipsychotics, again, what we were discussing. And then lastly was the neurology, diseases like epilepsy, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's are studied and treated within understanding neurotransmitters functions and dysfunctions.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, that's what happens with epilepsy as well.
That's the sensitivity to like a lot of flashing lights, right?
Yes, that's actually really correct. So
Yeah,
there's actually like a wiring issue within their brain with the neurotransmitters. That's why they get epilepsy.
Oh, okay.
And so thanks to psychology, we're able to figure that out.
I never met anyone, so I never really had to ask that question. But I guess you don't ask it until you know someone or you have it. So
each of these topics is integrated to the field of neurological science and psychology, providing foundation and understanding how the brain and the nervous system functions. So far we covered the psychology, action potentials, and the neurotransmitters. Again, babe, these are all just brief topics about what we discussed in psychology class.
that's brief. I don't know how much how deep the rabbit hole goes for each one of these topics. It's very interesting.
And to find out that psychology actually has not been, it was basically founded in 1879. Just barely founded. They are studying this.
100 years, 40 years, 150 years almost. Wow, it's a long time. Yeah, I would say they made some good progress.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It is interesting because, I mean, I don't really think about it, but you see, you talk about psychology, but it affects pretty much everything you do, like the way you behave and the way you raise your kids and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And how you get across towards people, conversate, and communicate with others properly, and also not have it affect you, and then maybe further on in your life you just take things for granted, and you end up with a sort of disease or not a disease but a disorder because you're not taking care of yourself. You're not exercising your brain properly, or you're not enjoying things as you should. So quick to criticize whenever you don't know what people are going through.
Oh yeah. Now that we went over this, would you take the class?
It sounds interesting. It really does. I would like to learn a little bit more on each of these things because, like I said, all this it sounds like it doesn't, but when you kind of piece it together, it affects everything that you got going on in your life, whether it comes friends, family, professional, private, any private lives, anything. And every person you come across, it also has like an effect of what is this person going through, and an understanding on and all that.
All right. Well, this is it. Thank you so much for my psychology final discussion. This is Nikki Lala Andres, Psychology General with Richmond Campus with my husband, Cesar Andres. Thank you.